Okay, so overall that looks good. The sixth house deals with your health, your work, and also the daily routine. Okay. And we have here the Three of Cups. So first of all, the Three of Cups, as it relates to your work, there might be some type of, I want to say like, it's like, this is a card about group acceptance when it's in the upright position. When it's in the reverse position, it's like a little bit of catty energy surrounding coworkers not getting along, and then one person, comes to you with their grievances around about the other person, and then the other person coming to you with grievances, and vice versa. So I feel that you're kind of like caught in the crossfires of people falling out in your work environment. Because you're also the suit of water, I feel that you can also be embroiled in this. So be very, very careful about, work demeanor. So work conduct. So don't get involved in office politics. Don't get involved in, I want to say like office romance as well. Office romance coming to light. So like people catching wind that you are potentially involved with somebody that you're not supposed to be involved with in your work environment. And also just overall cattiness and gossip. Just be careful and to avoid that. Okay, lay low. Just don't get involved when people want to. If people want to vent about a fellow coworker or a boss or whatever it is, just let them vent. Don't chime in and don't offer anything. Okay, I feel like it can backfire, so be very careful. The entire three cards here are all major arcana, so I feel that their energy, I read them in relations to one another. So I feel that this area of your life, it needs a little bit of work. Okay, so the work environment, especially how you entertain yourself, make sure that you are not involved with like seedy people. And you're not using, doing like destructive things as it relates to recreation. So just things that are self-destructive. Okay. And then we do have issues here regarding, communication, siblings, and things like that. All right. So those are the 4 areas that you might want a little bit of focus on, or at least iron those wrinkles out as we continue into January. So as it relates to your daily activities and, your daily routine, the Three of Cups in the reverse position as well is, it's a card about, not really going out as much, not really like, I almost want to say like you're not really, I feel like your social life somehow, you're either purposely doing this or, the opportunities are not available, but there's a lack of going out, mingling, and talking to a lot of people. So overall, I do see a sense of like isolation, a little bit of a loneliness. And when you do go out, it feels a little bit forced and it feels a little bit uncomfortable for you. Okay. So you are a lot more selective about, who you are hanging out with. I feel for some of you, there might have been some major information or news or things like that coming to light with the people that you're hanging out with as well. So you are reassessing. You're reassessing whether or not they're still good friends to keep around as well. Reassessment is always good when it comes to friendships, because oftentimes, we usually outgrow people and we just hang on for sentimental reason. And you have a habit of doing that too, Scorpio. You hang on to people that might not be good for you, mainly because you have a history with them, or mainly because, you grew up together. But just make sure that the people you surround yourself with are appropriate for you and that they induce growth and, they bring about new opportunities for mutual growth. Okay. Let me see what else here. So in terms of your health, the Three of Cups is pretty much cutting back on drinking, cutting back on sugar consumption, cutting back on like, the richer foods and things like that. So I feel like you're getting the basic diet, like, getting to the root of the matter. So, cutting back on sugar and things that might create excess weight gain and things like that. So I do sense, you are definitely a lot more stringent, a lot stricter when it comes to your diet and, your health. So that looks good. Now, the seventh house deals with partnership, and it could be partnerships in romance or partnership in work. First of all, for those of you who are partnered up with another person in work, okay, so let's just say work first. We have here the King of Wands. This is a fire sign. This is a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. And this is a person that is, they can be a little bit demanding when it comes to their needs, okay? They can be a little bit like, I almost feel like somebody who is quite intimidating to deal with, somebody that you might be intimidated by, or somebody that is quite controlling, that's kind of difficult and quite demanding and controlling. So this energy, as it pertains to a work partnership, I do feel that this person is looking at other avenues to make money. And I feel that they're scoping out new territories without consulting you. So I do sense as well that, they might want to leave the partnership, or they might want to like check elsewhere. So they're saying somebody with the wandering eyes. So I feel that this can also relate if you are dealing with this person as a romantic partner. So for those of you, and this is it's gender neutral, so this can be a male or a female. If you're dealing with this person, I feel like somehow for the majority of this month, they might be in the picture at the beginning of the month, and then they might be out of the picture by the end of the month. So don't put all your eggs in one basket with this person. If it's somebody new that you've just met, which is, fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, don't put all your eggs in one basket with this person. They seem a little bit unreliable. It's almost as if they're looking at, the greener pastures. It's almost as if they are emotionally checked out, and they're looking for excitement. They're looking for a lot of fun. They want to do things that they want to relive like their youth. So they're a little bit reckless and irresponsible. At their best, they can be very, very protective, very generous with their time and their resources. At their worst, though, I feel that, there are a lot of control issues here, and you don't like to be controlled by other people. So I feel like you both are working at cross purposes with one another. Okay. What I'm also feeling is this is an ideas person. This is a person with great plans, great ideas, but I feel that they don't really, take those ideas into the world in order to build them. So they expect other people to do it, and they don't want to get their hands dirty. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody like this as it relates to a work partnership or a romantic partner. Your eighth house deals with joint finances. So the eighth house is basically the psychic house. And just for the purposes of this reading, I want to simplify a little bit and see how it relates to you. But usually if there are important things that, if the card is important and it falls into a specific house, then I will mention it. But the eighth house and also the 12th house, those are both psychic houses. And so let's talk about this card. We have the sun in the reverse position. And as it relates to your joint finances, the sun in the reverse is basically expecting like a big financial windfall or some type of a big financial payout. And then when you actually get the news, it's a lot less than you're hoping for. Okay. So it's a little bit of a downer, and I apologize for that. But when it comes to joint finances, be very, very careful, especially if you are partnered up with this person right here. I feel like they are prone to exaggeration when, the reality sinks in. There might not be as much financial abundance as you had hoped, okay? And with the sun in the reverse as well, I keep seeing, this is a card, it represents children as well, and it links up, it's opposite your second house, which deals with children. I feel like a lot of expenditures going towards the children. So, you and a partner, if you have joint, like, either joint custody or even like joint finances linked up together, there seems like, at first it seems like there's a lot of money, but then after you subtract all the expenditures as it relates to children, then I feel that there isn't a lot left over. So be very careful when it comes to spending overall. Okay. For those of you who are just, single and you have, share, like you live with another person and you share things with another person, either a roommate, even like family members, or even whoever it is that you are dealing with, it feels almost as if one person is not putting in their fair share of the responsibilities. So the responsibilities being their financial obligations. So somebody is falling short mainly because they're not practical when it comes to calculating and doing their budget. Okay, sitting down, doing their budget. This situation, they're saying, is going to clear up like within a month or so. But this is seems to me as if this is a sore spot in your chart right now. And if you let it fester, balance out whatever that financial obligation you share with another person, balance it out, sort it out. I do feel it's heavily related to children and things like that. So the ninth house deals with higher education. It deals with foreigners. It deals with foreign travel, as well as philosophy, religion, and things like that. We have here the King of Swords. And I feel like for those of you who are in school, this is a very, very good card. This is somebody that is very logical. They're very, very systematic. Their mind is very sharp. They have incredible critical thinking and problem solving skills. And so if you're in school, I feel like this is the energy that you are projecting. You're very methodical. And I do feel like a lot of you might be in the technical profession if you are in school. I do see a lot of people doing research, crunching numbers, or even doing statistical analysis. So I do see a lot of techies, and especially math people. In terms of like, as it relates to like philosophies, foreigners, and even foreign travel, there is this person in your life right now that is really expanding your horizon. So we have here a Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And it can be male or female. The way that it shows up here is this is somebody who is, they're not an emotional person. They have a lot of questions. They're very inquisitive. They know a lot of things about a lot of things. And I feel that their energy is not one that is very laid back and receptive. Their energy is a little bit more confrontational. So they like verbal debates. They like, having philosophical discussions. And I feel that you're going to be communicating with this person heavily. And I feel like they might challenge as well. They might challenge some of the things that you have grown up believing. They might challenge, they might, force you to back up your claims. They might force you to like show them evidence and things like that. If you're a student, you might have a teacher like this, okay? Like a professor or even a teacher. And so this is somebody, in order to get on his or her good terms, you want to like quote everything, cite everything, so that he knows that you're thorough, okay? Let me see, foreign travel. There is discussion about travel with this person. So however they appear in your life, there's a lot of discussions about travel with this Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and male or female. And it's very good for you. And I feel like it's going to be kind of like an outlet. So I feel that, if you while growing up, you might have wanted a lot of emotional, conversations. I feel that as an adult, the outlet in order for you to get this emotional gratification is to have these very, very philosophical discussions with another person. I do feel like that's going to really feed your emotional needs as an adult. Okay. So if the emotional aspect has been vacant grown up, I feel like you're compensating in this manner, and it's not negative or positive, but I feel like it's going to be quite different from what you're used to. And it actually can heal this aspect right here. Okay. So focus more on having these philosophical discussions, focus more as well. This is a very good card that basically means, for those of you who want to go back to school, this is a good card that it's basically a yes, because your mind is very sharp. And if it's not utilized, then it's basically wasted. So they're really encouraging encouraging you to go back to school, or even if you're kind of like at a loss for a career path and or even a work, finding a work environment that's favorable for you, that will make you happy. I do feel like going back to school or working in an educational institution would be very beneficial for you. Okay. The 10th house deals with career, and it also deals with the father. So let me talk about the father first, because this is a big message coming through. So the 4 of Swords is a card about recuperation, like after surgery, after some type of health crisis. Okay. So this is like overcoming that, coming out of surgery and getting the clean bill of health. So I feel that, you might hear something about this as it relates to your father. As it relates to your career, we have the 4 of Swords, and the 4 of Swords is a situation where we have stayed rested for too long, and we need to make a move. We need to like resume the battle, and we need to just put ourselves out there to see what's available. So I feel like there might be some disagreements and some strife coming through in your work environment right now. I feel like you're maxing out on your ability to really, progress on the income level. So I feel that it's really important for you to figure out where you need to be career-wise, because this area is also quite shaky. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might have been raised in an environment where things were kind of unstable, where you couldn't get like, that clear sense of guidance from either a father figure or a mother figure. And as a result of it, and you might not have had like, siblings that you can bounce ideas off of. You might have been the only child, or there wasn't that strong connection between siblings. So I feel that you were like on your own trying to figure things out, and it became very, very difficult. So I feel like you're kind of like floating around. You know what you like, but I feel that you just need to like, take the steps in order to get there. Okay. Take the steps to steer your career path in the right direction. This is coming up for reexamination too. Now, going back to what I mentioned about 3 years ago, we were going through a major Saturn return. It was quite painful, but whatever was problematic had to be pretty much knocked down so that you can rebuild, right? So your foundation, it was built on faulty footing. And so it crumbled, and it needed to be dismantled because it wasn't good for you. So what it's saying is that, sometimes some people, so let's just say, if a tower breaks down, right? Some people, they get a little bit complacent. They're afraid of change. So whatever is broken down, they try to use the same material to build it back up. And then others, they wipe the slate clean and they start over. And so they're pretty much urging you right now, you have obligations, you have things where, and I feel like a lot of you have children and you have like financial obligations. So you can't really start over, even though you want to. It's always easier to just wipe the slate clean and just, rebuild from scratch. It's a lot easier, but you have family obligations. You can't do that. And then others of you, there's nothing holding you back, but I feel like it's the fear of change, because you're shown up here in the reverse position, meaning that you're clinging on to a situation way past its expiration date, and some things need to change in your life, but you're so fearful of change. Okay. So depending on which side of the coin you fall under, some things need to change. And we have a lot of things, a lot of areas actually that need a lot of work. So tackle one thing at a time. Otherwise, all of these things will kind of, okay. So 11th house. 11th house deals with your friends and your group associations. First of all, we have here a situation with the 2 of Pentacles. This is like juggling financial obligations. I feel like for sometime this month, there might be a friend that might need your help, financial assistance. Okay. And I feel like, there might be a friend here that you are either lending money to, or you are reaching out to, I feel like you might be the one reaching out to, for financial assistance, or a friend is coming in to reach out to you for financial assistance. But either way, there's going to be news and things like that related to a friend. This is also a card about travel as well. So, traveling to see a friend, or even having a friend come to see you. So it looks very, very positive overall. As it relates to group associations, this is a card about you still reassessing. So I mentioned before, oftentimes group associations relate to things that are optional, right? So you want to ally yourself with groups, and even groups that have potential for professional networking. But the way that things are right now, I feel like with your value system, they need to be re-examined. So I feel like, you're still going through a major rebuilding process. You're trying to find your footing. And so right now, you're still not sure. You're still uncertain. And I actually don't see Scorpios feeling uncertain. This is the first time that I feel that, on the one hand, you have a lot of abundance, like in love and support. But on the other hand, it feels almost as if you're coming into this year very wobbly when it comes to your foundation overall. And when you're wobbly with your foundation, you're not really sure, like, what you can believe in, what you know to be true, and you're not really sure about your capabilities and what you really stand for and what you can really believe in anymore. So there's almost like a spiritual crisis, or a crisis of faith. And so sort this out as well, okay? And the group associations then basically indicates that you're not going to be able to network with people and join these associations until you figure out where you stand, until you figure out what you really value. Once that is figured out, then this can happen for you, okay? The 12th house basically deals with institutions, and it deals with secrets, okay? So just for the sake of this reading, first of all, the 12th house is another very, very psychic house, and it's heavily activated. So we have the 8th house, which is heavily activated, but it's activated in a way where you are getting some push, some nudge to take care of your career and your public image, okay? Reform your career path and your public image. And the 12th house here is signifies, some type of a soulmate connection here coming through for you. So the 2 of Cups we have as well the 6 of Cups, which is a soulmate connection. So both of these things indicate to me that there is a soulmate person in your environment. They can offer you a lot of like spiritual healing. Whatever past relationship where you thought that, that person was a soulmate, I feel that there is a new one coming through, and it's going to provide some healing, whatever destruction was brought about by the previous situation, circumstance, is going to provide some healing. Additionally, what they're saying is, because this is a house of secrets, this is not something that you are aware of. But I feel that, I feel this overwhelming sense of loneliness. It's almost like, being surrounded by a bunch of people, but still feeling on the outs, feeling as if I'm not being understood. So I feel that it's really important for you, in order to let that go away. You are going to have to network a little bit more with people. You are going to have like more soulful connections and conversations with other people. So that means letting your guard down. That basically means as well seeing another person rather than focusing on, how different you are. Looking at them and try to pinpoint your similarities. So treating others in a more egalitarian way, that's going to be very beneficial for you, to allow you to see things from their perspective. Okay. So having more soulful communication as well as philosophical discussions. These are the 2 main things you should focus on, because they're very strong in this spread. So those 2 areas are going to provide very good outlets for you to overcome these challenges that happened in the past 3 years, to overcome the sense of isolation and feeling like as if your friends don't really understand you. So you need to get this rolling for the next few months, so that it doesn't, affect you throughout the entire year.